Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Trail Kale, and today I'm going to be reviewing the HOKA Stinson 7 hybrid road trail, daughter trail running shoes. That's these ones here. I'm going to make this video a little bit quicker than usual because I'm actually training for Kodiak 50k, which is coming up in 2 weeks. So every run I'm doing right now, whether I'm testing new running shoes or running gear, I'm putting in the hard miles. So I'll do this one quickly, but I think you're going to enjoy it because the HOKA Stinson 7 is really the Swiss Army knife of running shoes for HOKA. And that's because it's a daughter trail shoe, which should be as good on the road as it is on the trails. Now, whether that holds true, I'm going to find out on this run today, and I'm going to let you know. But so far, I've got a few first impressions. It's definitely a heavier shoe than a lot of other HOKA running shoes, weighing in at around 12 ounces and 343 grams roughly, for those who like to work in grams. So it's quite heavy. It's not a high performance running shoe, but it's one of those versatile shoes that can be used on the trails or the roads. So it's very much a stability shoe as well. Who are they for then? Well, I'm going to say they are for entry-level trail runners or road runners, somebody who wants one shoe that can do it all. Don't want to have to pay for a trail running shoe and also a road running shoe. You can just have this one shoe to do all the kinds of running that you want. I would recommend, if you do plan on doing more trail running than road running, then get a more dedicated trail running shoe, something like the HOKA Speedgoat 5 for example. I'll put a review up there so you can go check that one out. It's also good for heavier runners, and like I said, beginner runners, because it's got so much stability and cushioning in the shoes. It will feel very comfortable over the mileage that you plan to do in them. So yeah, very versatile shoe, and a lot of people are going to like it because of it. They do fit true to size, so I would recommend going with your usual size. If you're used to HOKA, then yeah, don't worry about it. They're going to fit you fine with your usual sizing. Similarly to Brooks non-running and Nike as well. Now, I would say they're medium to maybe larger than medium in width. So if you do have slightly bigger feet than medium width or average size feet, then you will be pleased to know that there's quite a lot of room in here, a lot of volume to stretch to your feet as well, because it is quite a stretchy upper. So how's it different from the previous version of Stinson 6? Well, I haven't actually run in that shoe, I haven't reviewed that one, but from what they say on the website, there is a higher stack height, so you're higher off the ground and you get more plush ride and cushioning because of that. They've also introduced the H-frame, which is something that runs above the midsole and below the upper. That's this kind of greeny blue section here. And what that is pretty much a stability frame, so it's in the shape of an H, and that holds your kind of feet stable, so it helps reduce lateral roll when you're running, which is really good if you're a beginner trail runner and maybe your ankles aren't quite strong enough to tackle some really challenging terrain at this point. Then they will help you keep you stable, so that's a really nice feature. Also, the traction on the outsole has been improved. I can't speak to the previous version because I haven't reviewed it, but the multi-directional lugs and traction patterns look very consistent with HOKA running shoes, which do very well on the trails. So they weigh around 12 ounces and that's around 345 grams. Not lightweight by any means. HOKA do much lighter trail running shoes, but then with a heavier shoe does come more durability and more cushioning and padding and protection. So there are definitely pros and cons to that. Price then, $170 for these shoes. I'll let you know at the end of this review whether I think that's worth it, whether they're worth that $170 price tag or not. We shall see. And as I mentioned before, it's very much plush midsole, so it's a very cushioned ride. Heavier runners or people who just love cushioning in their running shoes are actually going to love this. It will absorb a lot of harsh terrain underfoot, so that's like sharp rocks, roots, anything that you might feel on one of your feet. This midsole will absorb that. And then finally, the drop is a 5mm drop. So that's very consistent with most HOKA running shoes, to be honest, and I really like it. it's a perfect drop for me. Now my test trail loop does start with quite a big climb, and one thing I'm noticing already is the security of my foot in the shoe, how secure it is in there, how much movement's going on. And I did notice some slip at the back, so where my foot is kind of coming out a little bit. And I managed to fix it. I'm just testing on one foot at the moment to see how it compares. But all I did was use the extra loop in the lace, so it wraps a little bit more around the collar and locks my foot in place, and that's much better. So I do recommend doing up your laces all the way. It won't be like that out of the box, so definitely use that extra hole. Let's quickly talk about the upper. It is using a jacquard mesh, breathable upper material. So this here is the jacquard mesh. It's very breathable, very cushioned around the collar, and also the heel counter. That brings me to this heel counter. I do love these articulated heel counters that HOKA does do on some of their shoes. It's really nice. It allows your Achilles to kind of have space when you're moving within your running stride. It's really nice. Also makes it very easy to slip on. There is also a protective toe bumper, so if you do stub any roots or rocks, your feet will be protected. There's also a very nice heel cage at the back of the shoe, which really adds to that stability of the Stinson 7. That's this section here. It's got this little, I don't know what you would call that, kind of like a claw mark from a bear or whatever. It's on the other side. But behind it, there's this cage which is really solid, and that keeps your heel in place. Works great. So after doing more running in these Stinson 7 hybrid running shoes, it's become very clear that they're very much a stability shoe. For me, they're too heavy to be a high performance running shoe, especially for anyone who wants to do lots of hill climbing and lots of distance in their trail runs. They're just too heavy for that, and over time you will feel the weight when compared to something like a Zinal 2 or a HOKA Speed Goat 5, for example. Even a Mafat Speed 4, they're all much lighter and much higher performance with better Vibram outsole grip as well. That's not to say the outsole is not good on this shoe, because it is, and it's definitely got better lug formation than the Challenger ATR 7. Might also be a shoe that you're looking at because it's also a door to trail running shoe, and they're very similar. That shoe is lighter, doesn't have quite as good as grip as this one, is not as stable as this shoe either. So pros and cons to both shoes. Definitely go watch my review of a Challenger 7 if you're looking at that one too. Between the two, I'd pick the Challenger 7. But like I said, if you're an entry-level runner, you want more stability, maybe you're heavier, you don't mind a slightly heavier shoe like this one, then you're probably going to really like the Stinson 7. So toss up for sure. Definitely go read my in-depth review of these shoes on trailandkale.com. I'll better explain the nuances and differences between HOKA running shoes, just in case you are looking at different ones from HOKA, which are similar to the Stinson 7 But that review will give you a better idea of which one's best for you. Also noticing on my run that any sharp little stones or rocks, I don't feel any of that underfoot. So the higher stack height is doing a great job of protecting my feet. Feels really good, very plush as well. So I can't complain about how they feel on the trail. Really nice. I just wish they were a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit less bulky on the feet. But again, I'm quite a lightweight runner. So when it comes to my gear, I always prefer to go for as light as I can. Well, when I finally get to the top of this summit, like I said earlier, this trail loop is tough. It starts with about 300 meters of climbing. And then I loop down and have a lot of fun on the downhill. But I get to the top, I like to take some photos of all the features and the shoes themselves for the blog review. So once I've done all that, I'll give you some more thoughts at the top, and then I'll test them out on the downhill, run them as hard as I can, and give you my thoughts maybe halfway down the hill. Alright, so I made it to the top. It's actually really hot today, so I'm glad they're breathable shoes. One more insight then, since the last time I spoke. And throughout the climb they've been very good in terms of traction. So the outsole traction is very good, even though it's not Vibram's Mega Grip. But how do they climb? Well, that's a good and a bad. Good that the grip and traction is good and that kind of claws into the trails, but a little bit bad because they're a little bit heavy, like I've been going on about a lot. You know, it's like, do I really want to carry 3 ounces per foot more than I need to when I'm running up challenging hills? No, I don't. Of course I don't. So although they climb well, they're heavier than they need to be, so I don't really think they're designed for people who want to go up steep hills or anything like that. It's for people who want to be running on the roads, transitioning to trails, back again, or maybe they just want to go on a road run one day and a trail run the next day. Then these shoes are going to be perfect for you because you don't have to buy multiple pairs of shoes. You've got that one shoe, that'll do it all for you. So yeah, pros and cons for sure. It's definitely targeted at a specific runner, and like I said, maybe someone with a bigger build, slightly heavier than average, maybe needs the stability and cushioning in their shoes. So for those people, and maybe new runners as well who need the stability, they're worried about rolling an ankle or not too sure, maybe they're learning the ropes of trail running and just want a safety shoe, for want of a better word, then this is a very good choice for them as well. Okay, I'm going to take some pictures for my blog review, and then I'm going to enjoy a nice fast downhill, and I'll check back in. Definitely a lot of fun for running downhill, and then really feel the stability, the protection underfoot, and it actually feels very difficult to roll your ankle, which is saying a lot. So that means it is definitely a very good stability running shoe. So downhill running test done, and it's all positive for that. Alright, well I really hope you enjoyed this HOKA Stinson 7 running shoe review. I hope it gave you some insights onto whether it's a shoe for you, whether it's worth $170 for you as well, and hopefully I've given you some ideas about some other shoes from HOKA that might be a good choice for you too. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the running shoes, or just say hello in the comments down below. It's always nice to know you're watching and engaging, so please drop a comment down below and I'll say hi back. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time for the next review.